Hey everybody, Mewtwo Overkill once again, speaking in a little bit of a hushed tone just because it's 12 at night and people in the house are sleeping. But nevertheless, what you see before you hear is Pegasus Fantasy Cards strikes again with the Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's Final Hour structure deck. This is a custom Orica structure deck. All the cards inside it are handmade, none of them are real. And this is based on Zone's deck from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. So he made the box for it. Just as Rise of Atlantis and Corruption of the Fallen before it, I am going to do doing an opening and review. So here's what the back looks like. If you want to pause the video and read that, be my guest. And it is a 40 card deck. Looks like every card has a 2 of except for one of them, I think. Yep, just one speed rolled 2. It has 1 Ultra, 1 Super, and 1 Secret. It was made by Pegasus Fantasy Cards in 2014. So, this is based on Zone's deck, so let's open it up. This is, I actually have opened this already. This is actually the second take of this video because in the first take, the lighting in this video, the lighting was absolute garbage. So here's the second take. So I have opened this once already, but everything is in the order that I found it in. So as you can see, I take out the rest of this plastic shell with the rest of the cards, but the cover card's still in there, and that's because it's in this nice little conveniently placed sleeve with this convenient sliver cut out of it that you can just pull up like that with your finger. And this just comes off. Originally, when I got this, there was tape on each side of this that I had to cut open. But so here's our secret rare is the Cephalon, the Ultimate Timelord. Oddly enough, not with its anime effect. The rest of the Timelords in here do have their anime effects, though. The rest of the cards in the deck were anime exclusive for a very long time. Most of the Timelords are still anime exclusive. And slowly have been coming into the real game, albeit with nerfed effects. So here we have our Cephalon with the exact effect he has in real life. Then we have Camion, the Time Lord. All the Time Lords have the following effects where they can't be special summoned from the deck. And you can normal summon them without tributing if you control no monsters. They cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. And you take no battle damage involving them. That's the effects that all the Time Lords have in common. During the standby phase, during your next standby phase after the turn it was summoned, it gets shuffled into your deck. So that's all the effects the Time Lords have in common. The rest of their effects of each individual Time Lord involve shuffling cards your opponent controls back into the deck. Shuffling from various places, actually, because I think one of them shuffles from the graveyard. Drawing cards and inflicting burn damage. Each one has a different, each one has a varied effect, aside from all the effects they have in common. So we have, and Cephalon has an entirely different effect altogether. So 2 Camion, which I believe, what does he do? At the end of the battle phase of this card attacked or was attacked, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, return it to the deck, and then inflict 500 damage to your opponent. So he gets to return a monster to the deck. And then we have Gabrion, which, let's see. Forgive me, each Time Lord has a wall of text. If damage calculation performed is involving this card at the end of the battle, phase, target 1 card your opponent controls, shuffle that target into the deck. Okay, so after he, at the end of the battle phase in which he battles, you get to shuffle something into the deck, and there's 2 Gabrions. And then this one, Halion. If this card attacks or was attacked while you and your opponent have different amounts of life points inflict damage to your opponent equal to the difference. And we have 2 Halion. And then we have 2 Mation. This one is the has a real life counterpart. This card attacked or was attacked, return all monsters on the field to the hand, inflict 300 damage for each card returned. That's pretty much the real-life version. Micaiah, the Time Lord. This one is probably the most broken one. I don't know how they're going to bring this into real life. But there's two of every Time Lord in the deck. If this card attacked or was attacked at the end of the battle phase, half your opponent's life points. Pretty good. Just having your opponent's life points is such a powerful effect. So we have 2 Micaiah and 2 Raphion. Return the monster this card battled to the owner's hand and inflict damage equal to its attack. That's pretty nice. 2 Raphion. Then we have Lazion. Return all monsters your opponent controls and all cards in your opponent's graveyard to the deck, and then inflict... Yep, at the end of the battle phase, if this card attacked or was attacked, return all monsters your opponent controls and all cards in your opponent's graveyard to the deck, so that's really good. Then inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent each time they draw a card during the draw phase. Okay. So you return everything on every monster on their field and in their graveyard to the deck, and then when they draw on their next turn, they take 1,000 damage. So we have 2 Lazion. 2 Sandion. This one's pretty powerful. He's the only Time Lord, aside from Cephalon, that actually has attack. 4,000. And then if he... What is it? If damage calculation is performed involving this card, at the end of the battle phase, inflict 2,000 damage to your opponent. Okay. So it's actually a little rough. I think one other version actually did 4,000, which is pretty busted. So 2 Sandion. We actually have a second Cephalon here, which is a common, because the other one was secret. Then we have 2 Time Angel. If this face-up attack position card is destroyed by battle, return all monsters on the field to their owner's hands. Not bad. It also combos good with another card in the deck. 2 of them. The only downside is that it has to be in attack position and it has 0 attack. Time Maiden. It cannot be normal summoned under set. If I control no monsters, I can special summon it from my hand. It can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a fairy type monster. I believe he used in other versions of this card. It searches it actually searched a Time Lord. I don't know if this is the real version or the anime version. Comment down below. I can't really look it up right now if you know which version this is, because I know this got released as a real card in Battles of Legend. So 2 Time Maiden, and then 2 Zaphion the Time Lord, which is probably the most broken one aside from Micaiah. At the end of the battle phase, if this card attacked or was attacked, return all spell and trap cards your opponent controls to the deck. When this card is removed from the field, draw 5 cards, draw until you have 5 cards in your hand. During your standby phase, shuffle this card into the deck. So it attacks. At the end of the battle phase, shuffle everything back, or all your opponent's back row. Standby phase, it shuffles itself back into the deck. I believe that triggers the effect to draw until you have 5 in your hand. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the anime one, if the anime one works that way, but I think it would, because it's not like Tengu where you can't confirm that you're summoning the same one back. It's just a draw effect. So you have 2 Zaphion, 2 Sadion, and this is the last monster of the deck. At the end of the battle phase, if this card attacks or was attacked and your life points were lower than 4,000, your life points become 4,000. Pretty nice. Restore us health. So 2 Sadion. Speed World 2, the only spell he played, I believe. This is going to be weird. One thing I wanted to address is how I'm going to incorporate this into the Structure Deck Duel series, the Orica Structure Duel series, because I know at the start of like every Riding Duel, Speed World was immediately activated at the start of every Riding Duel. But I don't think I'm going to be doing Riding Duels or Turbo Duels with any of the structure decks. So this is going to be just a regular field spell in the deck. That reason is because the first a few structure decks, Orica structure decks, do rely on field spells. Like Leon relies on Golden Castle, Orichalcos, Yugi, and Darts rely on the Seal of Orichalcos. And we're playing by old school rules, so I believe this couldn't be removed from the field. So, and Darts needs Orichalcos more than Zone needs Speed World. But regardless, what this card does, if a spell card other than a speed spell is activated, its controller takes 2,000 damage. During each player's standby phase, each player places a speed counter of their own on this card, up to 12 each. You can remove any number of your own speed counters from this card to activate an appropriate effect. 4. Inflict 800 damage to your opponent for each speed spell in your hand. 7. Draw one card. 10. Select and destroy one card on the field. But like I said, unless there probably isn't going to be any writing duels in the structure deck duels, in the Orica structure duel series, so I'm going to run this because if I don't run this in the deck, then it's not a 40 card deck. So I'm just going to use this as a regular field spell, and if he happens to draw it, he can activate it like normal. Now for trap cards. The Empress's Crown. A lot of his traps could be activated from the hand, which is pretty cool. I think it makes up the fact that he played no spell cards. You can activate this card from your hand when a synchro monster is special summoned from your opponent's side to your opponent's side of the field. Draw 2 cards for each face-up synchro monster your opponent controls. Kind of useless in a lot of when he's going up against a lot of the other structure decks. Because I think a lot of the structure decks don't even a lot of the structure decks that Pegasus Fantasy Cards has made don't even use synchros, except I think the DDD one. But we have 2 Empress's Crown. Infinite Light and Einsof Ore. This is actually part of a 3-card combo. You use and this is how you get Cephalon out without having 10 or more monsters in your graveyard too. But you activate only by sending an Infinite Machine Einsof you control to the graveyard. Once per turn, you can special summon one Time Lord monster from your hand. You can summon monsters ignoring the effects of any Time Lord monsters you control. That's another thing I mentioned. Like if you have a Time Lord, you can't summon more Time Lords. Then once per turn, you can discard a Time Lord monster to draw 2 cards. Time Lord monsters you control do not return to the deck due to their own effects during the standby phase, so that's really good. When this face-up card is destroyed, you can special summon one Cephalon, the ultimate Time Lord, from your hand, deck, or graveyard, ignoring the summoning conditions. So it makes all your Time Lords more powerful and makes them stay on the field, and then if they kill it, you get Cephalon from anywhere, basically, except banished. So you have 2 Infinite Light. I'm actually doing this backwards because this is how they were ordered in the deck, but we have Infinite Machine Einsof. Activate only by sending him a 0 Machine Ein you control to the graveyard. Once per turn, you can special summon a Time Lord monster from your hand. You can summon monsters ignoring the effects of Time Lord monsters you control. Once per turn, you can discard a Time Lord to draw 2 cards, so it's more draw power. So, infinite, 2 of them. The Fool's Ruling, you can activate this card from your hand during your turn. Okay, so only during your turn. If you would take battle damage, all battle damage you take would become 0. Really weird that you can only play it from the hand during your turn when it's probably a trap you would use on your opponent's turn. I guess if you're... Oh, I guess you could, like, attack into... You could attack into a monster with Time Angel and then play this and you wouldn't take any damage. So that's pretty good, actually. So that's the Fool's Ruling. Then we have the High Priestess's Staff. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, negate it and end the battle phase and inflict 500 damage to your opponent. If you control no monsters, you can activate this card from your hand. So it's a better negate attack that is also a hand trap. The Magician's Wisdom. This combos with Mataion and Time Angel. During this turn, if cards on the field were returned to the hand, inflict 300 damage for each card returned to the hand to your opponent. You can activate this card from your hand during your turn. It's not bad. Then we have an ultra rare. This is 0 Machine Ein. It's a continuous trap where once per turn you can discard a Time Lord monster to draw a card. And we have another one that is common. So that is the entirety of the Zone Final Hour structure deck made by Pegasus Fantasy Cards. Very good quality cards, I would say, for handmade cards. So yeah, look forward to more openings like this. Like I said, and I do take requests on which Orica structure you want me to get from Pegasus Fantasy Cards. Next, this one was actually a request from a friend of mine. His YouTube name is MLBXNC22. I don't know if I said that right, buddy, but I am going to link you in the description regardless. He does the Orichalcos challenge as well. He also does some Let's Play stuff. But, yeah. Oh, another thing is, Pegasus Fantasy Cards also gave me another bonus throw-in in the form of these tokens. That's all the ghost tricks. Then we have, more ghost tricks. So, yeah, this is, the Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's Final Hour structure deck. Like I said, this is a fake, I can't stress enough, this is a fake deck, not usable in tournaments, and, really only for collection and casual play. And, we'll have a special treat for you next time when I get with my cousin, because, in the next structure deck duel video, we are going to pit Zone against Zone's Final Hour against Darts' Rise of Atlantis. So we're gonna see two of the most OP villains duke it out in the next time I get together with my cousin. I'm probably going to play as Zone because he's already played Darts before, so he has more experience with that. This deck is also kind of new to me as well. I haven't really played Timelords that much. I fooled around with them a little bit on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, but I'll probably do a few test hands with this deck. But anyway, this has been Mewtwo Overkill. I'm going to see you all next time. Don't forget to hit me up with those likes and those comments. Subscribe if you want. And I'm going to leave links to Pegasus Fantasy Cards' his stores, his eBay, and his Facebook, so that you can, if you're into Oricas, you can possibly buy something from him for yourself. I highly recommend the dude. Nice guy, speedy shipping, high quality, handmade cards, and structure decks. So with that, see y'all next time. Mewtwo Overkill out.